Hey everybody, Greg here. Pretty quiet day overall for the markets. Still up. You can see the little narrow range day there on the S&Ps, really tiny. Maybe everybody's still away for holiday, who knows. Anyway, trend is up. When we get a really narrow range day like that, clearly it's a lot easier to break a prior day's low, which is our first reference point of support. We'll see if this expands today to get a little further or not. You can see the 5 minute is just consolidating near the day's high. Things went flat after chopping around earlier in the day, moved up, and just nothing happening here. You can see the 65-minute bullish, sideways. Possibly it could break out. There is a bottoming tail bar there, uh, which I believe is the low of the day. Breaking below that would open up a possible move lower, which I imagine would not happen before tomorrow. Qs. I mentioned pre-market. This was the sector that could outperform because of the pattern, the pullback, the consolidation there, and the reversal on the prior day and the move up. And now it's at resistance where it's stalled, and you can see the little red area, and mark off this intraday for support and resistance. And it's just been slowly grinding a little bit lower. No real damage done. 65-minute is in an uptrend. A little bit of a void because of the way it moved up. So maybe it pulls back a bit. We'll see. Right now, nothing to do. And let's take a look at IWM. Now, this could be good for tomorrow. It got killed early in the day. Regional banks, biotechs, energy went down. And on the retest, it recovered. So can it hold on to the gain? And if it does, we're going to have a correction bar on the daily chart. And the 65-minute, overall, a consolidation, a little breakdown. This would be good for tomorrow to go higher. SMH is the winner of the day, and that has brought up XLK. And so now this is up at resistance and the moving averages, not doing anything, starting to roll over a little bit. Like everything else, just consolidating the morning gains, no real damage done. It could start to accelerate lower. So this is why we never assume that a daily bar is going to close this way until we get probably around 3:30. And at that point, it's so late in the day that it's unlikely that it would turn into a topping tail. Unlikely is obviously the vital word there because anything's possible. But so far, it's holding on to the gain and looks pretty darn good. What's doing good? Well, semiconductors. And we've got big wide range bars into resistance, LRCX. And so something like this, we would look for maybe a 1, 2, 3 to set up. Or buying pullbacks if you're trading intraday. A few others, reversal days after things getting killed. This looks good. Again, it would be great to get a consolidation day tomorrow after this strong move up, because then it could move up. You can see on this 65-minute up into this void in this unfilled gap. So you want to keep an eye on these to see if they can hold on to the gain. One like this is not very attractive. You can see it's at resistance. So this is the kind of the stuff you want to look for. 65-minute charts, things that are down a bit, just turn into a downside shakeout. You see here on the 65-minute breakdown, deep retracement, sideways, it's got room to go up. So these could be the ones that could be good for put spreads, could be good for intraday longs, not necessarily good for swings because the reward to risk isn't attractive. And while it might get up to the 50 MA and you got to put a stop at least under a prior day's low, really doesn't make sense from a swing trading perspective. Intel continues to be a dog. You can see how that's underperforming. It gapped up today and to the pivot, and institutions just decided to dump it again. Now, whether this can turn into more of a downward bullish consolidation, if we were to get an update tomorrow, that would be something to be paying attention to. Yet to be seen. AMD, we look for put spreads, wasn't enough premium. And so another pattern that if it can clear these highs, but ideally a consolidation day tomorrow and then up and away would be fantastic. And you can look through some of these yourself. Computer discretionary, just another, gap up and go nowhere. You can look at what's doing well, sort it by change on the day, and see what's doing well. And so not interested under the 200 there. Amazing that, these cruise lines just done so well. You hear about people's credit card debt, through the roof, 20% interest, but these crews, they're going on vacation. And so, with the internals that I covered this morning, you would think that those credit cards, which they will add to that with the holidays, buying gifts and vacations and so on, those bills are coming in January. So things could come together sometime in January for some kind of a move lower. We'll see. Lulu consolidating here, something that looks like it could continue higher. Communication services, just slow grind higher. Meta, which we discussed in the room as a put spread candidate, which we did do. Looks great. The spread was lower behind here and had premium. So bottoming pattern, just a great setup for that. Google, news that's floating around, with the monopoly situation. You got news risk, not worth it. Netflix, we got a alert under the prior day's low. We had a good call spread over here on this day. Maybe another one sets up. Just let's see anything that underperforming. Let's just go to the S&P 500 and look at things that are down several days in a row. So energy is not doing well. I'll take a look at that in a second, but this is down several days. Maybe it can turn around. Maybe. FANG, down several days, not interested. Financials, that's a little bit of a bearish sign for the broader markets, down day, but in an uptrend, looking for it to pull back. Regionals, pulling back, more attractive, pulling back towards support. We'll see if we can get a turnaround day. The diamonds susceptible, breaking these lows for a deeper pullback. And transports, pulling back, and that could turn around. And consumer staples, talked about that in the letter a couple of weeks ago, and had a nice move up. Looks like it's susceptible to a pullback. Defensive, so should set up buying opportunities now that it's broken above this resistance area. And what's done bad today? Well, what outperformed utilities? Money coming out of utilities pretty abruptly with interest rates inched up this morning. Let's see if we can take a look at that. Do I have? Yes, TBT. Interest actually moved down. The dollar moved up. It was on this Trump news that if someone, any countries, not someone, countries started utilizing other currencies as a currency of choice versus the dollar, he'd 100% put taxes on them. So he's not, talk is cheap. Let's see what he actually does at the end of November when he takes office. And let's see, take a look at financials. Energy certainly looks like it's got to pull back some more. And USO. The big question here is whether it comes down here and breaks these lows. I've been talking about that for a couple of weeks. It had a move off of support, sellers at resistance, and now will it violate this support area? So set alerts. We'll see what it does. As always, if you have any questions, email us, Greg and Dan at Master Trader.